happy almost weekend, which is so very exciting. I hope you guys are very much looking forward to the weekend. I'm actually leaving the country tomorrow with one of my closest friends, Whitney, who I've known probably for almost 5 years now. We met in Charlottesville. Actually, when we first moved there, we actually met through one of my ex-boyfriend that I was dating there, and so but she's become such a very, very, very close friend and like a sister to me, and such a huge, just an important part of just my, my faith and a lot of growing up and a lot of life transitions that happened in Charlottesville. So Sheila now lives in Nashville, and I'm here, but we've been wanting to take this trip for years. So we are so excited. We'll be in Italy for 12 days, and so we're going to fly into Rome tomorrow evening. Our flight leaves out of New York. She's flying here tonight. And then we'll be in Rome, and then we go to Venice, and then we go to Florence, and then we'll end up in Milan before we fly back to the States on March 22nd. So all that to say, I'll be on Instagram. I'll be all over Instagram, so I can't wait to document it. And then I'll also be vlogging here and there. I have some guest posts up. You're going to see an introductory post from Cody, which is going to be awesome. I've had a lot of people just, she's already working with lots of clients. She actually has a full client load already since I brought her on, which is amazing. So, and super exciting. Not a full client load, like she's not taking new clients. She is definitely taking new clients. But a full load, and the fact that, we've just had so many new clients, and she is, her schedule's getting filled up. It's not like she's sitting around twiddling her thumbs. So that's super exciting. So we're going to get an introductory post up, so therefore you guys know a little bit more about her, and she's very similar to myself, so I'm excited for you guys to read about that, just to hear more. So that's great, and I'm super excited just to see the response to the meal plans. The meal plans are a weekly meal plan. They're pretty detailed, and so therefore the $10 buys you 1 week. And I wish I could offer a month for $10, but there's just a lot of work that goes into producing them. So we want to make them as cost affordable as we possibly can, but they're just right now just weekly. Right now they're mostly plant-based, but we are going to expand that. And the reason why we made them mostly plant-based was just because it's easier to substitute chicken for chickpeas, or to put dairy milk in a sub for soy milk, or almond milk, or an egg for a flax egg or something. It's easier just to add the real thing in than to make a plant-based substitution, which is why they're all plant-based right now. And then you can add in wherever you want to, or sub out wherever you want to. So if you guys are enjoying those, again, those aren't individualized to your own individual nutritional needs, but my hope is that they allow you to get some new fresh meal ideas, and to really learn what balanced eating looks like, which means carbohydrates and proteins and fats in every meal, and eating enough and snacking throughout the day, and all of that good stuff. But in terms of individual needs, they're not individualized. They're just for overall. There's no nutritional information attached to them, because I'm somebody, I don't work off quantitative measures when it comes to nutrition. So I hope you guys are enjoying those. Feel free to provide feedback. Obviously, we want to be able to cater to you, so do that. Email me, and we're excited about it. So I hope you guys are enjoying them. We've had an awesome response, so hoping to keep up with those. So today I want to talk a little bit about sleep. This is something that I feel like as a dietitian gets so neglected. It gets neglected the most. And I know I've probably spoken about it in videos before, but I really want to hone in on it and talk about it a lot, because it's something that is so important. It's the first thing that if someone's like, I can't lose weight, or I'm gaining weight and I don't know why, one of my first questions is always, what does your sleep look like? Because sleep has such a huge effect on our hormones, and our hormones play a huge role in terms of our metabolism. And so sleep is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Then again, we don't want to stress about getting too much, or we don't want to stress about our sleep, right? You don't want to lay in bed stressing out that you're not falling asleep. But all that to say, sleep is important, right? You can't make up sleep. Once you don't get 7 or 8 hours, you can't make that up. So it's not like you can go on 5 hours a night, and then Saturday and Sunday hit and you're sleeping for like 12, 13 hours a night. It really doesn't work like that. Once the sleep debt is there, the sleep debt is there. You can't just go make it up. So the best thing to do is to kind of stay on the same rhythm throughout the entire week. So if during the week you're usually up around 6 a.m., ideally you'd stay close to that around the weekend. Now, I know you're not waking up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, which is fine, but maybe you're waking up by 7:30 or by 8. So keeping things in the same, in like a 2-hour window is ideal. That's what I recommend to clients, because obviously we want to make it feasible for your lifestyle, but we also want to keep you on kind of that same circadian rhythm. So all that to say, why is sleep so important? So we have tons of different stressors in our life, right? So stress that comes from not eating enough, not eating good enough balance, not eating often enough, not eating early enough. We have emotional stressors and financial stressors, and if we're exercising too much and we don't give our body enough recovery time, that's going to be stressful. So lots and lots and lots of points of stress. Sleep is another huge part of stress. And so what happens when we don't get enough sleep is a couple of things, right? When we don't get enough sleep, our cortisol levels rise. You'll hear me talk about cortisol as if it's like the word the. I say it so often. And I use cortisol kind of as like a term for a lot of our stress hormones. It's not our only one, but it's kind of the main player. So cortisol will rise when we don't get enough sleep. Cortisol is therefore higher when we don't get enough sleep. Cortisol is a fat storing hormone. It's an energy storing hormone. And so therefore, when we don't get enough sleep, we are programming our body to store more energy than burn more energy. We always want to be burning energy. That's our main goal, which is why we want to alleviate any points of stress. Then, at the same time, when we don't get enough sleep, that whacks out our hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. So therefore, ghrelin tells us we're hungry, leptin tells us we're full. If we don't get enough sleep, our ghrelin gets increased, so therefore we feel hungrier, and we tend, since cortisol levels are high, our body's stressed, therefore it naturally wants quicker energy. So we tend to grab things like sugary things and more carby things, and we're snackier in the afternoon, so you might reach for that muffin or whatever. We don't have we're not as mindful with our eating, and we tend to snack on more sugary, refined carbohydrate foods. So ghrelin gets heightened, which makes us feel more hungry, and then leptin gets suppressed, and leptin is what tells us we're full. And so therefore, your hunger cues are going to be a little out of whack. Now, I always say that with a grain of salt, because even when I work with clients, they're like, well, then how do I know when to eat? Because my hunger cues then aren't reliable. And I always say, we're looking at trends, right? One day of poor sleep is not going to unravel you at all. We're looking at consistency in something over time. A couple of weeks or a month of poor sleep is probably that's something that we need to address and to focus on and say, okay, why are we not getting good enough sleep, and how can we tighten this up? How can we focus on that realm of health and make that better? So we get hungrier more and we get full less. And so poor sleep is going to affect those hunger hormones, and it's going to heighten your cortisol. So the worst thing that you can do when you haven't gotten enough sleep is wake up and go work out. Cortisol is already high, and therefore you're going to go work out when you don't have enough energy, when you haven't slept well. And so your body then isn't even going to be able to recover adequately from that workout. So that workout is actually going to be doing more damage than it's doing good. People think, oh yeah, I still have to work out because I have to, I have to burn XYZ calories, or I have to, I'm going to get unfit or whatever. And actually, if we haven't gotten enough sleep, the worst thing that we can do for ourselves is go expend more energy. Our body needs rest. It needs to be able to rest so it can heal, and we can get back down cortisol levels. We don't need to go do something that's going to heighten them unnecessarily. So sleep in. I assure you that the workout will always be there tomorrow, but those hours of sleep will not be there tomorrow. It's only going to compound the issue. And so you guys know I never get too sciencey, so I want to keep that. I don't get too sciencey because I want it to be able to resonate, and I want you to be able to relate to it. So I'm that's kind of the gist of it. And so this question that I had in particular was, what about oversleeping? So what if you can wake up if there's an alarm clock, but you could also sleep for lots and lots of hours? Well, I would say that probably means that you've accrued a lot of sleep debt, and therefore your body can kind of sleep for a long time. And so let's say on Saturday, if you go to bed, at 11 p.m., you could easily sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning the next day, maybe even noon. That's probably something to have a little bit of concern with. Why are you sleeping so long on Saturday? Is it because you're not getting a lot of sleep during the week, or maybe you are getting 7 to 8 hours every night, but you could sleep for about 14. I would say number one is to go and get a thyroid panel done. Go to your doctor, get a thyroid panel done. They'll know exactly what that means, and just check out your thyroid, because if your thyroid's a little bit sluggish, which if we have too much cortisol pulsing in our body from a lot of different reasons, that can actually be a precursor for hypothyroidism. I touched on that a little bit in Wednesday's post, but um, that can definitely cause the beginning stages of hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is reversible, um, but in many cases. But if we can protect against that, that's a good thing. So I would say go to your doctor and get a thyroid panel and make sure that that's okay, because a low functioning thyroid can cause some unnecessary fatigue. So that's the first thing that I would certainly say. So don't ever get not enough sleep, 5 or 6 hours, and then go work out. Plus, if we're not getting enough sleep, slamming coffee all throughout the day is only compounding the issue. So we have these little adrenal glands on top of our kidneys that are responsible for releasing a lot of our stress hormones. And so we don't need to stimulate them more with tons of caffeine. Your normal cups, for sure. But if you're, throwing back caffeine all throughout the day, you're adding to that hormonal party going on. I know I talk a lot about like a hormonal frat party, because that's what it is. It's like the frat house is already packed full. There's kegs everywhere and beer is everywhere, and now you're going to let in the 50 people waiting outside because they want to get into your party. It's only making things worse. The party didn't get more fun. The party just got really crowded. And so, if you're already lacking in sleep, go ahead, take the day off from working out, drink your normal amount of coffee, focus on all those good nourishing foods, fruits and vegetables, and carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates and healthy fats, and still eating early and eating often, and trying to just take care of yourself the best way that you can, knowing that this isn't a forever thing, it's a temporary thing, and hopefully the next night you're going to get adequate sleep, um, or even if it's a few nights in a row of poor sleep. That's certainly happened to me. When I have heightened stress, my sleep quality kind of suffers, and I have to recognize that and figure out, why am I so stressed, and how can I lessen that. So I'm going to end up blabbering if I keep going, but I hope that clears up some issues with sleep and cortisol and why it's so important. And I always tell people, if your weight is stuck, or if you're having a really hard time losing weight, or if you're actually gaining weight, or maintaining your weight is difficult, one of the first things you can look at is your sleep. And is your sleep good? Because sometimes even by getting your sleep better, that actually regulates your weight and your metabolism, more than any sort of food or any sort of nutrition plan or any sort of exercise routine could. So I'll leave it at that. We're already at 13 minutes. Hope you guys have an awesome week. I have some guest posts. I'll be posting a little bit, some good stuff coming, and look out on Instagram when we see you in Italy eating all the gelato and all the espresso and all the wine and all the pasta. I'm pumped. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend.